Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're embarking on a truly captivating journey, one that delves into the very architecture of our existence. We're going to explore how we can consciously decode and, maybe more importantly, rewrite the operating system of our lives. This isn't just about self-improvement in the usual sense. It's really about intentional living, personal sovereignty, and unlocking your highest potential. We've been immersed in the profound and, often surprising insights from Michael Anthony Alberta's book, The Living Code, Rewriting Your Inner Cipher. And let me tell you, this isn't your typical self-help manual. Alberta presents his philosophy as a comprehensive protocol for life. He uses this incredibly powerful and, I think, apt metaphor of cryptography. He invites us to think of ourselves and the world around us as these vast, complex, encrypted messages, just waiting to be understood.
What's truly compelling here, I think, is Alberta's core premise. That the world itself is a tapestry woven from ciphers, and that we, as human beings, are inherently wired as pattern recognition machines. It's just what we do. He suggests our lives aren't just random sequences of events, but rather these intricate encoded narratives. And by understanding the underlying principles of how these narratives are encoded, whether it's in our past, our biology, or, our social interactions, we gain the power to actually transform them. So our mission today is really to extract the most potent keys from the living code, offering you, hopefully, a shortcut to becoming the master cryptographer of your own destiny. This deep dive should help you shift from being maybe a passive recipient of external programming to a deliberate architect of a self-actualized, purposeful existence.
Okay, let's try and unpack this. Imagine just for a moment that your entire life isn't just a jumble of random experiences, but actually a hidden, elegant order just waiting to be revealed. Alberta posits that embracing this radical idea that everything that has shaped us, even the difficult or confusing parts, is essential to our unique masterpiece. That's the first step towards a deeper understanding. So let's begin this fascinating journey of decryption.
The foundation decrypting your past and biology's master code.
Right at the start, the book opens with such a powerful concept. Viewing your entire life, from your earliest memories right up to this very moment, as one vast, intricate, encrypted message. Every single experience you've had, every thought, every interaction, big or small, acts as a symbol within this immense ciphertext. It's like this grand narrative encoded, and it's waiting for you to discover its hidden meaning.
Yeah, and if we connect this to the bigger picture, Alberta grounds this idea in some really profound concepts. He draws on Carl Jung's notion of the collective unconscious, which is essentially a shared reservoir of universal symbols and archetypes that resonate across all human experience. These symbols, he argues, often mirror fundamental natural and mathematical patterns, things like the Fibonacci sequence, the spirals in a sunflower, the branching of trees, or the golden ratio in pi, these universal codes underlying growth, harmony, and cyclical motion. He really makes the case that these patterns shape our lives in profound, often unseen ways. This approach really resonates with, say, Jordan B. Peterson's self-authoring program, which guides people to write out their past, present, and future narratives. And it also aligns with Greg Braden's work on fractal time, exploring how cycles repeat. The key insight here is that history doesn't just repeat exactly, it echoes in patterns. And by recognizing these time codes in our own lives, we can anticipate and navigate them better.
That makes a lot of sense. The goal isn't to go back and, change the past. That's impossible. But it's about truly understanding its encoding, identifying those recurring motifs and themes that have shaped who you are now. So for someone listening, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed by their own life story, how do we actually begin this past decryption? What's the practical first step?
It's a remarkably methodical process, actually. Much like a skilled cryptanalyst breaks down a complex cipher, the first step Alberta outlines is to divide your life into distinct epochs. Think of these as significant periods marked by major developmental stages or big life transitions. What's intriguing is he suggests a Fibonacci-like structure for these epochs. He sees life unfolding in these expanding phases, each building on the last. So, for example, he recommends starting with early childhood, maybe ages 0-6, the foundational programming period, then elementary school, 7-12, for early social stuff, adolescence, 13-18, identity formation, early adulthood, 19-25, independence, mid-adulthood, 26-40, major life building, and later adulthood, 40+ for reflection. And for each epoch, you give it a descriptive title, something that captures its essence for you, like the formative years or maybe the platinum spiral.
That's such a unique way to frame a life, thinking of it unfolding like a mathematical sequence. It definitely gives a sense of order to what often feels chaotic. So once we've defined these epochs, what comes next in this decryption process?
The next step is identifying what he calls high-frequency symbols. These aren't just any events, but the 3 to 5 most significant positive and negative events within each epoch that still resonate deeply with you today. The things that echo. These are the moments that truly shaped you. Then you move to the cryptographic tableau. This involves a detailed, almost forensic analysis of each symbol. For each event, you detail the scene, what happened, your internal state, how you felt, what you thought, the immediate aftermath, any lingering echoes, and finally, the recalibration, how did it change you? It's systematic, making sure even small details hold clues.
Right. And here's where it gets particularly insightful for me. Frequency analysis. This is where you really start looking for those recurring patterns across your epochs. Positive patterns, negative ones, core beliefs that got cemented, relationship dynamics that kept repeating, or unresolved themes that just keep popping up. It's about identifying your personal signature moves, those unconscious algorithms guiding your behavior.
Precisely. Just like pi's digits recur, or the golden ratio shapes things predictably, our lives often show these signature moves. It's about recognizing your own design patterns. The final and maybe most crucial step is finding the master key. This involves synthesizing all your findings, epochs, symbols, frequency analysis, into a comprehensive narrative, maybe 500, 1,000 words. This master key for Alberta is like your personal golden ratio, the unifying principle integrating all parts of your past, good and bad. The goal is to embrace your life as an elegant sequence, balancing past and present to create your future. This whole process helps you spot your default settings, those automatic reactions, and understand their influence. And that empowers you to consciously challenge or adjust them, moving from being passive to being the architect. It's a profound shift.
Okay, after that really deep dive into decrypting our past, Alberta pivots to another fundamental code. Our biology's master code, circadian rhythms. It's fascinating how he frames this. How do these natural cycles, like the Earth's 24-hour rotation, become such a crucial key to optimizing our well-being?
Well, it raises an important question for all of us, right? How can we fine-tune our biological circle, as he puts it, towards a more perfect trajectory? Alberta explains that these natural rhythms, showing patterns like Fibonacci and the golden ratio, are fundamental algorithms governing everything, not just planets, but our own biology, too. Our suprachromatic nucleus, the SCN, in the brain's hypothalamus, that's our body's master clock, it regulates these critical 24-hour cycles, affecting sleep, hormones, metabolism, mainly by influencing melatonin production. Think of pi, the circles ratio, as a metaphor for our daily cycles. When they're synchronized, your body functions with this elegant coherence, like a perfectly tuned engine.
But it really feels like in our modern world, these rhythms are constantly disrupted. We're always fighting against them, aren't we?
Absolutely. Modern life often acts as a huge pattern disruptor. Artificial blue light, especially from screens at night, irregular sleep, fragmented social rhythms that are like interference, scrambling our internal algorithms. This code corruption leads to decoding errors, poor sleep, fatigue, weaker immunity, higher risk of chronic diseases. Specifically, it suppresses melatonin, delays sleep. So restoring this natural pattern requires deliberate realignment, biological self-mastery. It means sending clear signals. Morning exposure to natural light is the correct decryption key. Its signals start the day. And minimizing artificial light at night prevents interference, letting sleep hormones do their work.
So understanding that, what are the specific protocols or daily practices Alberta suggests? How do we actually put this into practice in our lives?
He offers several practical protocols. Let's start with exercise timing. Alberta notes that for strength and power, late afternoon to early evening, say 4 to 7 p.m., is often optimal. That's due to peak muscle strength, reaction times, hormone levels like testosterone, a secure window, he calls it. Conversely, morning workouts, especially fasted, are great for fat loss, tapping into stored fat. Plus, they help reset the internal clock with the sun. Then there's chrononutrition, aligning eating with daylight. Front-loading calories earlier, layer evening meals. This respects your digestive system, letting it work when active and rest at night. He also advocates intermittent fasting, an 8-10-hour eating window, then a 14-16-hour fast. This enhances metabolic repair, cellular cleanup like autophagy, improves insulin sensitivity.
It's incredible how interconnected it all is. Even things like hydration and temperature, which we might not immediately link to our internal clock, play a role.
Indeed. The hydrochronometer, as he calls it, emphasizes consistent fluid intake during active hours, but tapering off at night to avoid sleep disruption. Then, temperature tactics. Leveraging core body temperature. A warm bath before bed causes a temperature drop when you get out, signaling sleep. Conversely, cool temps upon waking can invigorate you. And it's not just internal cues. Social rhythms, human zeitgebers, are crucial external cues too. Consistent meal times, work schedules, social interactions reinforce coherence, reducing noise. Our cognitive cadence also fluctuates. Late morning to early afternoon is often peak for complex problem solving, ideal for tough mental work.
And then there's stress. That notorious pattern disruptor. Seems like chronic stress can just throw everything off balance, right?
Yeah.
Preventing this master code from working smoothly.
Precisely. Chronic stress is like persistent interference, scrambling algorithms, elevating cortisol, especially at night when it should be low. This hits sleep, immunity, metabolic health hard. Alberta emphasizes daily practices like meditation, mindfulness, breath work are more than just mental relief. They're acts of biological purification. They actively restore harmony, transforming unconscious stress responses into deliberate health-promoting protocols. It's about consciously dampening the system's noise.
Optimizing the hardware, light, heat, cold, and physical form.
Okay, so we've talked about our internal rhythms. Now let's shift to these elemental forces, light and darkness, heat and cold. How does consciously embracing these primal forces become a cornerstone of optimal health in Alberta's framework?
What's really compelling here is his philosophy that robust health is the absolute bedrock of a well-lived life. It's not just avoiding sickness. It's this vibrant, resilient state rooted in understanding how nature's forces embody balance. He connects it to the golden ratio, pi, cyclical harmony. His approach involves deliberately integrating heat and cold and consciously orchestrating light and darkness. It's not about extremes for their own sake, but reestablishing internal equilibrium, fostering resilience, achieving mental clarity despite modern stressors. Let's dive into the invigorating chill first. He talks about cold exposure, igniting the inner fire. Sounds intense, but cold thermogenesis is getting a lot of buzz. He's a strong advocate, starting with cold showers, maybe progressing to ice baths. This activates the sympathetic nervous system, fight or flight, but beneficially controlled. You get this surge of dopamine and norepinephrine, boosting alertness, motivation, mood lift that can last for hours. Beyond the psychological, it enhances mitochondrial function key for cellular energy. He aims for about 11 minutes total per week, maybe broken into 1 to 3 minute sessions in cold, safe water. This also promotes top-down control over mind and body, increasing your stress threshold, makes you more resilient. And metabolically, it can promote converting white fat storage to brown fat, burns calories for heat, a metabolic advantage.
And then the sun, the original medicine. So often we're told to avoid it, use sunscreen, stay inside. But Alberta seems to view it very differently, almost reverently.
Yeah, his relationship with the sun is intentional, respectful. He emphasizes regular, controlled exposure, especially early morning and late afternoon sun, not just for vitamin D, but to build a solar callus natural tolerance. Crucially, he aims for 10-30 minutes of direct sunlight within the first hour of waking. And this is key. Without sunglasses or windows, those block the specific wavelengths, especially blue light, needed to activate melanopsin cells in the retina. These cells signal directly to the SCN, our master clock, anchoring the circadian rhythm, triggering a healthy cortisol spike, and setting you up for good sleep later. He suggests 5-10 minutes on a sunny day, 15-20 if overcast, to really anchor that rhythm, leveraging the sun as a biological cue.
What about balancing the cold with heat? Many find saunas relaxing, but he seems to integrate it with a specific purpose.
Right, for deliberate heat exposure, he consistently uses sauna sessions, aiming for around 60 minutes, 5 times a week.
Oh.
Often involving hot-cold cycles, warm up in the sauna, then a cold shower or plunge, maybe repeat. This promotes deep relaxation, yes, but also cellular repair via heat shock proteins critical for cellular integrity. It also improves cardiovascular health, like giving your heart a workout. He notes a trade-off. Sauna is great for longevity, but might slightly inhibit muscle growth. He prioritizes longevity and recovery. And here's a fascinating, maybe unconventional detail. He recites a prayer in the sauna and even during urination, focusing on what he calls quantum tunneling to remove harmful elements. It's not standard science, but shows his belief in the mind-body connection using intention.
Okay, so with these foundational principles, light, dark, heat, cold established, we move to practical application, mastering the physical self. Our bodies are the primary vessels for our encrypted instructions, our life blueprints.
Which raises that critical question. How do we ensure this vessel functions at its peak, supporting our intentions? Alberta sees sleep as the ultimate recharge, absolutely essential, non-negotiable, for physical vitality and mental clarity. His ideal is 8 hours, maybe 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. He emphasizes complete darkness, blackout curtains, eye masks, and consciously limiting all artificial light after sundown for optimal melatonin. Even minimal light disrupts.
He also uses non-sleep deep rest, NSDR protocols, like guided meditations, as mini recharges during the day.
Posture is something many of us take for granted, just how you stand or sit. But he suggests it's way more than that, a projection of your inner state.
Precisely. He views the architecture of the body, posture, through the golden ratio lens. Balanced symmetry projects capability, self-assuredness. It's not just aesthetics, it signals your internal state. He imagines a string pulling him upward, fostering equilibrium. He even studies his gait in a mirror for symmetry, seeing it as a daily self-respect ritual, making micro-adjustments. A lean, aligned physique signals vitality, discipline. It's nonverbal communication of self-mastery.
Then there's intentional exercise. How do natural rhythms like Fibonacci, golden ratio, pi guide his fitness approach? Sounds like more than just reps and sets.
He applies them thoughtfully, using Fibonacci intervals for intensity recovery, or structuring training in 13-week blocks like lunar cycles to align with seasonal rhythms. He also emphasizes circular workouts, kettlebell swings, Tai Chi embodying Pi's geometry with fluid motion. These aren't just for strength. They improve joint health, flexibility, core strength, holistic movement. He shares a personal shift too. In his mid-40s, focusing intensely on legs, reducing core size, recognizing an upper body imbalance. He notes a lean body attracts more attention as he ages and plans to stop emphasizing hypertrophy after 73, prioritizing longevity over pure mass. It's dynamic.
And mindful movement goes beyond just the physical act. What are some nuances he practices that make it truly mindful?
Right. He prioritizes abdominal nose breathing with his tongue on the roof of his mouth. This enhances respiratory efficiency, promotes relaxation, parasympathetic activation, improves performance via oxygen intake. What's really fascinating is closing his eyes during weightlifting. Not a quirk, but a technique. It enhances proprioception, body's sense of position, and deep core engagement. Removing visual cues forces reliance on internal feedback, sharpens mind-muscle connection, improves focus, balance, feeling every movement.
Let's talk feeling the machine, diet. He has some distinct strategies here listeners will be curious about.
Alberta emphasizes metabolic flexibility, the body's ability to switch fuels, glucose, and fat. He practices fasting and ketosis, staying fasted or in ketosis as long as possible after waiting, often until after his gym session. This, he says, is pro-longevity. It shifts the body to burn fats and ketones, efficient brain fuel, enhances mitochondrial efficiency, suppresses inflammation, builds metabolic resilience. It's about optimizing cells, not just weight loss.
Beyond fasting, he has interesting pre- and post-workout rituals too.
He does. Saltwater and performance during saltwater pre-gym. Not just taste, replenishes electrolytes, improves hydration, enhances performance via blood flow. And then coffee and UV absorption, an unexpected one. Beyond caffeine's known cognitive and health benefits, he notes coffee alkaloids can absorb UV light. He suggests letting coffee sit in the sun for 5-20 minutes might enhance its properties. A speculative, interesting connection.
And the gym commute for him is clearly more than just getting there. It's deeply integrated.
Absolutely. Uses his walk for cardio and sunlight exposure or warm-up. Trains 1.5 hours daily, systematically rotating muscles. Music is a key motivator, and it's often his only dedicated music time, minimizing other dopamine hits. The gym is also his main social outlet. Positive environment, community. Post-gym, still fasted, he gets ample sunlight, often jump roping or studying Spanish in the park, gazing at the sky through leaves. This specific practice, looking through natural patterns, is thought to activate the brain's default mode network, DMN, linked to creativity, introspection, reduces stress, improves mood.
And here's where earthing comes in, that direct connection with the Earth's energy.
Right, direct physical contact, walking barefoot on grass or sand, grounding. Believed to allow absorption of free electrons from Earth, acting as antioxidants. Advocates suggest it reduces inflammation, improves sleep, balances stress hormones like cortisol, enhances circulation, lowers blood viscosity, regulates autonomic nervous system, promotes relaxation. For him, it's crucial for reconnecting to natural energies.
What about post-workout nutrition and dinner? He has a very specific, maybe unmainstream approach.
He primarily eats red meat post-gym, a strategy to maintain ketosis until dinner. Beef provides essential amino acids for muscle repair. Aims for 200-gram protein daily, roughly 1 gram per pound of body fat, supplementing if needed. Overall diet is rich in seafood, omega-3s, whole foods. But he cautions against strict keto carnivore without blood work, prefers balance over dogma. Dinner is high protein, low carb. Strictly avoid sugar, limits high carb fruits, rice. Dairy in moderation, noting potential benefits of C15.0 fatty acid. Water as primary beverage, always filtered. Supports everything from nutrient absorption to detoxification.
And a quick word on supplements. What are his go-tos? What's the rationale?
Just a select few, mainly creatine. Mixes it with his saltwater pre-gym. Cites well-researched benefits for performance and cognition. Increases phosphocreatine in muscles, boosts ATP, energy, improving strength, power, recovery. Also, cognitive benefits like short-term memory. He also takes magnesium, highlights its essential role in hundreds of bodily processes: muscle function, nerve signaling, energy, blood sugar, bone health. Notes benefits of various forms: citrate, glycinate, malate, threonate, ensuring a broad spectrum of its crucial functions.
The Inner Cipher's mental, genetic, and social landscapes.
Okay, so we've optimized the external hardware, our physical body. But what about our unique genetic blueprint? Genetically tailored fitness delves into how our ancestry, our biocode, subtly influences our health responses.
Yeah, it raises that important question. How much does our ancestry influence how our bodies respond to diet, exercise, environment? Alberta explains that while fundamentals apply universally, specific genetic variations linked to ancestry can significantly impact responses. He gives examples. People of African descent might have higher salt sensitivity, benefiting from lower sodium. South Asians often face higher diabetes heart disease risk, maybe needing diets emphasizing fiber, balanced carbs. East Asians frequently show more lactose intolerance. Northern Europeans might need more vitamin D due to lighter skin. He stresses these are tendencies, not rigid rules. The best approach balances genetic insights with personal needs, current health, leveraging your unique biocode.
And there's that fascinating discussion about Neanderthal and mixture, our ancient past impacting health and mood today.
Indeed. For the 1–2% of non-Africans with Neanderthal DNA, these variants still have influence. Some linked to enhanced immune responses may be good against ancient infections, but today could increase autoimmune inflammatory risk. Suggests anti-inflammatory diets might be extra helpful. Neanderthal genes also affect skin pigmentation. Vitamin D metabolism so sufficient. Vitamin D is crucial. Others are linked to metabolism, fat storage, potentially higher obesity. Type 2 diabetes risk in modern environments. Highlights importance of activity, balanced diet. Neurologically, some variants are associated with mood-sleep patterns, underscores need for sleep hygiene, stress management. It's remarkable how deep that programming runs.
What's particularly intriguing is the concept of environmental mismatches. The idea our bodies are adapted to specific climates and moving outside them can cause issues.
This is a profound point. Our mitochondrial DNA, our haplogroups, evolved for specific environments. Northern haplogroups, H, U in Europe, developed mitochondria generating more heat via uncoupling adaptation to cold. Equatorial ones, L, M in Africa, focused more on efficient ATP production for hotter, high UV areas. Alberta argues living in an environment mismatched to your mitochondrial ancestry can disrupt circadian biology, mitochondrial health. People with equatorial ancestry moving north might face more mitochondrial stress. Those with northern ancestry might have more flexibility in the tropics. He references Dr. Jack Krus's idea that cold thermogenesis helps absorb melanin internally, shifting its role from external protector to internal mitochondrial regulator. He even cites Frank Barr's theory of melanin as a semiconductor, converting sunlight to energy. Fascinating. It underscores how deeply environment needs to sync with our blueprint.
Our minds, arguably the most complex encryption machines of all. How does Alberta suggest we unravel our mental code book, find clarity amidst all the noise?
Alberta emphasizes our true potential is often obscured by ciphertext distorted narratives, limiting beliefs like bugs in our mental framework. His approach is becoming a master cryptanalyst of your inner landscape, and he draws a powerful link between mental and physical health. Low-carb diet, fasting, exercise, sleep, light exposure, they're not just physical, they form an ecosystem impacting mental health. He cites Dr. Chris Palmer's brain energy theory. Many mental illnesses are metabolic disorders of the brain from mitochondrial dysfunction. Ketosis and fasting can address this by improving mitochondrial health.
So given that mind-body connection, what are some key daily practices for this mental decryption?
Cultivating gratitude is foundational. Not fleeting emotion, but active daily discipline of shifting focus to appreciation. Powerfully reframes perspective. Then confidence is an aura, not bravado, but deep capability from inner strength, knowing you're working on yourself. The learning imperative, symbolized by Pi's infinite digits, means continuous self-improvement. He's learning Spanish keeps the mind sharp. And crucially, digital detox and bright light exposure, limiting screens, especially evenings, and getting ample bright natural light during the day to counter blue light's negative effects.
And he suggests journaling for tranquility. which sounds simple but incredibly powerful.
It really is. Using digital tools like Google Keep Docs for self-reflection, emotional processing, allows him to process thoughts, track progress, reinforce affirmations. This systematic journaling leads directly to emotional regulation and imperturbability, viewing discomfort as growth, fostering calm resilience, teaches thoughtful response over impulse, approaching interactions with a fatherly, protective energy, quiet strength, guidance avoiding judgment.
This raises an important question many of us grapple with. Perspective shift. Controlling the internal narrative. How much control do we have over inner thoughts? Can we shape our reality?
This is one of his most profound insights. Alberta suggests much suffering comes not from events, but our imagination and the stories we tell ourselves about them. He even references Julian Jaynes' bicameral mentality theory, early humans perceiving inner thoughts as divine commands before introspective consciousness emerged. Alberta argues our modern ability to observe and shape inner dialogue is a profound evolutionary leap. Gives us power to reclaim sovereignty over our internal state, independent of outer circumstances. Resist negative self-talk, rewrite narratives, consciousness molded by the stories we tell, becoming the editor of your inner book.
He also touches on managing relationships for personal well-being, and this fascinating concept, curbed enthusiasm and embracing wisdom.
For relationships, he focuses on calmly distancing from toxic individuals and, crucially, controlling his own reactions. Reclaiming self-control is paramount. As for curbed enthusiasm, he emphasizes tempering natural enthusiasm with prudence, prioritizing wisdom, avoiding mistakes over appearing clever. A mature, considered approach, not impulsive displays.
Relationships, often presented as the ultimate source of happiness. But Alberta offers an unconventional view. How do we decrypt these complex social protocols, protect our emotional intel?
He views interactions as complex exchanges of encrypted messages, body language, unspoken expectations, social protocols operating subconsciously. His core belief may be radical but liberating. The only thing that truly matters to me is how I feel about myself when I'm by myself. I don't need anyone or anything to be happy. This is his self-sovereignty in relationships, freeing him from neediness, external validation. He emphasizes becoming a discerning cryptanalyst of social dynamics, reading cues, establishing secure channels based on authenticity, ensuring your internal plaintext is clear, not just reacting.
What's particularly fascinating here is his take on the romantic dynamic, really challenging mainstream narratives.
He fundamentally challenges the idea that wealth or conventional success guarantees romantic fulfillment. He observes relationships built on status often lack genuine desire. Paradoxically, he suggests those prioritizing internal happiness over ambition losers in hustle culture might inspire deeper attraction. Genuine desire, he argues, thrives on uncertainty, tension, not predictable security. The moment stability is guaranteed, the spark can fade. Needs continuous, earned reciprocity.
And then the dark reality about dating 9s and 10s, an interesting, maybe uncomfortable point.
He addresses it pragmatically, acknowledges intense competition, high expectations, potential partner insecurity, pressure to maintain appearance, suggests while initial chemistry might be strong, such relationships can be more complicated, less fulfilling long-term due to potential lack of deeper emotional connection, often shallow.
Marriage and kids, a calculated risk. That's a very bold statement given societal norms.
It is stark. Views marriage, especially today, with extreme caution. Likens it to a lifelong roller coaster ride, blindfolded, with no seatbelt. Conveys perceived volatility, risk. His only rationalization for such a risk, the profound responsibility and opportunity of raising children with the same parents, implies strong duty toward family, even within his independent framework, weighing costs versus benefits.
Despite this intense focus on self-sovereignty, he still highlights the importance of community and support, even the most independent need connection.
Yes, a crucial nuance. He explicitly notes even highly independent individuals benefit from supportive community. Not dependence, but enhancement. Community provides accountability, diverse perspectives, emotional support, shared experiences, learning opportunities. Complements internal happiness without compromising self-sovereignty. Another vital layer, selective, meaningful connection that fuels, not drains.
The path forward redefining wealth, embracing discomfort, and habit as encryption.
In a world obsessed with financial accumulation, Alberta offers a truly radical redefinition of wealth. What's his core philosophy?
Unequivocal and direct. The only thing that people truly own is their health. Immediately reorders priorities. Money, for him, isn't an end. It's purely a tool. It's purpose. So you do not have to be somewhere where you do not want to be, doing something you do not want to do. True wealth transcends material possessions, encompasses freedom, rich experiences, personal growth, means intelligently structuring all resources, time, energy, skills, finances, to serve your highest intentions, transforming financial anxiety into sovereign freedom, mastering your resource code.
So true wealth is really health, time, experience. He directly challenges the idea that more money equals more happiness.
Challenges it head-on. Seen firsthand how more money introduces complexities, increased responsibility, security concerns, strained relationships. Believes true wealth emanates from experiences, relationships, growth, not just material things. Money can't buy love, happiness, peace of mind, or time. Notes future predictions suggest owning less could lead to greater happiness. A powerful argument for simplifying.
This raises an important question about desire and satisfaction, the paradox of contentment. How does he reconcile ambition with finding contentment?
A beautiful paradox he has observed. The less I seek, the more abundance surfaces. He's consciously loosened his grip on rigid goals, relentless striving. Finds fulfillment flows naturally when not constantly pursued with lack. Suggests contentment isn't ceaseless acquisition, but finding satisfaction in what's present, cultivating effortless attraction, aligning internal states so desires manifest organically.
Yet, despite this philosophy, he still advocates very practical financial habits, purposeful resource allocation.
Yes, philosophy isn't abandoning responsibility, it's mastering it for a higher purpose. Budgets, strictly, managing finances for what matters, health, time, experiences. Explores local luxuries, free low-cost activities like parks, museums offering luxury without the price. Notes areas with golden ratio design feel more harmonious. Champions a minimalist approach to wardrobe, maybe 2 suitcases for nomadic flexibility. Prioritizes experiences over accumulation, safeguards personal secrets, controls access to sensitive information, and touches on living your vision with a robust private exit strategy for long-term security, freedom.
Here's where it gets really thought-provoking. Embracing discomfort, the crucible of pain, can actually forge long-term pleasure. How does this paradox work?
Alberta argues persuasively all meaningful growth happens at the edge of comfort zones. True, lasting progress, physical, mental, emotional, lies on the other side of deliberate engagement with challenge, not self-punishment, but strategic, intentional engagement with the crucible of discomfort, where pressure forges a stronger, more resilient self, like tempering steel.
So this crucible idea applies directly to our physical self.
Absolutely. Redefines no pain, no gain as intentional discomfort of progressive overload in exercise muscle fatigue, lactic acid burn, not punishment, but catalyst for adaptation. Cold exposure is a perfect microcrucible. Acute discomfort yields sustained benefits. Dopamine, mitochondrial function, stress threshold. For him, it's training the body to shock itself out of a tropical phenotype, making it more resilient, adaptive to varying stressors like our ancestors, more robust mitochondria.
And mentally, how does he embrace this discomfort? It sounds like more than just intellectual challenge.
The mental crucible involves embracing cognitive friction of continuous learning, like struggling with a new language, Spanish for him. Uncomfortable short-term leads to expanded capability. Also confronting uncomfortable truths via journaling, processing difficult thoughts, often suppressed. Even a digital detox is mental discipline. Short-term discomfort, FOMO, leads to long-term clarity, presence, focus, building mental resilience like a muscle.
And emotionally, how does stepping into discomfort lead to growth here?
The emotional crucible involves consciously stepping into situations triggering discomfort, not avoiding them. His self-sovereignty in relationships means embracing discomfort of prioritizing his own fulfillment, even if challenging norms. Leads to authentic connections via earned reciprocity, not complacency. Also involves confronting uncomfortable truths from past decryption, emotionally taxing but necessary to liberate from unexamined history's influence. Greater emotional freedom.
So what does this all mean, this paradox of pain leading to lasting pleasure?
It means consciously choosing these crucibles profoundly amplifies adaptation. Physical stress builds muscle. Mental emotional challenges strengthen resilience. Cultivates unwavering self-sovereignty, reinforcing top-down control, ability to consciously author your future. And redefines true pleasure, not absence of discomfort, but deep satisfaction from self-overcoming, stretching capabilities, transcending limits, forging a robust, authentic self. In discomfort, the deepest codes are rewritten.
This brings us to the powerful culmination. Pattern becomes person. Habits as encryption. Our habits are literally our encryption keys, shaping who we become.
Raises that essential question. How do daily routines write the code of who we are? Alberta views habits as behavioral algorithms, Compact, efficient routines, repeating via triggers, producing predictable outcomes, economizing brain effort. They're the living code of our identities, the cumulative result of countless repeated actions, thoughts, responses. Our high-frequency symbols reveal the patterns we've become.
So changing a habit isn't just a minor tweak, it's actively rewriting that encryption, conscious reprogramming.
Exactly. Overriding a dominant, often unconscious code with an intentional one. Retraining the brain's pattern recognition. Discipline, then, isn't a prison. It's a blueprint for freedom, self-authorship. When routines are designed intentionally, repeated consistently, they stop feeling like obligations, become powerful keys unlocking an authentic life, becoming fluent in a new behavioral language.
And for Alberta, the most important habit of all, the root of transformation.
Awareness. The ability to step back, observe, clearly see the patterns forming within yourself and your life is absolutely crucial. Just like identifying a pattern starts decryption and cryptography, same in life. If you can identify the loop, how you respond to stress, what grounds you, what triggers unhelpful behavior, you gain power to reprogram it. This is living consciously observing the self being written line by line via habits, reactions, and consciously choosing how to alter the syntax, change the script.
What's fascinating here is symbolic compression, small shifts creating massive ripples.
Yes, powerful concept. A seemingly small micro-level shift creates profound macro-level ripples. Alberta emphasizes you don't need to change everything to change everything.
Yeah.
One new encryption, a daily walk, new sleep ritual, morning light exposure can begin rewriting your entire operating system. These minor adjustments reconfigure life's geometry, altering the larger pattern, steering destiny. Sovereignty built not in grand leaps, but deliberate, consistent actions. Outro.
Wow, what an incredible deep dive into the living code, rewriting your inner cipher. We've journeyed through so many layers, from decrypting your past, aligning with biology's master code via rhythms, optimizing physical hardware with light, heat, cold, analyzing genetic biocode, unraveling the mental landscapes, navigating social protocols, redefining wealth, embracing discomfort, and finally understanding our habits are the encryption keys to our identity, identifying loops, editing programs, encoding a new identity.
Yeah, and connecting it to the bigger picture. Alberta's work isn't just optimization, it's a return to natural harmony, living in rhythm with universal algorithms. As humans, we're tuned to these patterns. Consciously attuning to circadian clocks, Life Systems unlocks vitality, resilience, clarity. You've been given the tools, the insights, the keys to consciously recalibrate, refine, rewrite the code of your life.
This book, The Living Code, really offers a blueprint for intentional existence, prioritizing health, mental clarity, authentic sovereign relationships, wealth redefined as freedom and experience. It's recognizing true freedom comes from internal sovereignty, controlling reactions, understanding desires, making conscious choices aligned with authentic values, building intrinsic happiness.
Your journey, of course, continues beyond this book, beyond our discussion. This self-cryptanalysis is never finished. Life evolves, so must your cipher. Continue monitoring vulnerabilities, updating understanding, strengthening self-encryption via intentional habits. The wisdom in your complexities empowers you to define your future as a crafted masterpiece.
Your life is your most important message. You are its master cryptographer, guardian, designer, sovereignty built not in leaps, but deliberate, repeated actions reflecting who you choose to be. So we leave you with this. What new encryption will you choose to install today to live a life you truly love? A life authentically and powerfully yours. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We look forward to our next exploration with you.